So it's October 1st, almost. And there's something about the fall that makes me nostalgic. I don't know if it's the way the sun is, because it's a different light in the fall, obviously. It's different from summer. The whole world looks different. The air is crisper. Everything about it feels new. It feels like a rebirth. And this is also the time that I like to replay video games and rewatch shows. And the two medias I've been enjoying lately are GTA 4 and Sopranos. Today I actually restarted my rewatch, or I'm rewatching Sopranos. I think it's my sixth or seventh rewatch. Perfect show for the fall. Same thing with GTA 4. I don't know what month it takes place. I think it actually takes place during spring, but all the trees are obviously coloring. They're colored. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's a fall game in my opinion. And I was thinking about how these games, these shows are like time capsules. We can look back at them and get a view to the past. Things were different 20 years ago. Far different. There was no social media. I mean, I don't know when MySpace came out, but I remember in second grade I had a MySpace. So 2002. Maybe it was 2003. It's third grade. But technology was different. It felt like not necessarily people were different. I don't think people necessarily change. Maybe their views do, their opinions, but people seem to be more or less a creature of habit. But when I play these games from the 2000s and I rewatch Sopranos, I'm reminded of what it was like being a kid. Things were simpler. And I don't know if it was because I was a kid, didn't really know much about the world, but it seemed a lot more hopeful. I'm sure kids these days feel the same thing. They don't understand that the world's changed, not for the better. I was never really old enough to watch The Sopranos when it was out. I think the show started in 99. I was born the penultimate day of 94, so it would not have been a show on my radar. But I do remember watching some episodes because occasionally HBO would give you like a free trial a month. And I remember I would take full advantage of that and I would watch all those shows. I mean, Dexter, when it came out, they would do that and I would watch a ton of episodes. Sopranos was the same thing. But still, I was a kid, so it wasn't like now. I watched my first viewing of the show when I was 23. That was 2018, October, which is, again, fall. Perfect time for that. And GTA 4, I played, obviously, when it came out because we had a 360. And that was the game to play. But I want to get to the main point of this recording, this video, is that these time capsules they make you nostalgic, obviously, but they remind you that things were different and maybe better. We don't really know if they were better because it's been such a long time. But when 2008 is when GTA 4 came out, I believe. Life was great. I was in 8th grade. We had a 360. I think at that point we had two, because I have two brothers. I think at that point we had two 360s. Or maybe we shared one still. But that was the golden age of Xbox Live. We would play with our friends. We played with random strangers. Singing of Call of Duty. Another thing. Sopranos, GTA 4, you see vehicles. Back when vehicles were actually good. I really have a conspiracy that Cash for Clunkers destroyed all the good cheap cars for us middle class people. For those that don't remember, they gave you like a $5,000 credit, something like that. Maybe it was more, to trade in your clunker, your old car that probably worked great, for a new car. And it was not like they took that car and took all the parts out of it. They destroyed the engine, essentially totaling the vehicle, and took all those vehicles off the market essentially because it's total. You're not going to replace the engine of a PT Cruiser. So you see these vehicles in GTA 4, like just normal cars that were used. They were cheap back then. You could buy a cheap car back then. Sopranos, same thing. I remember we actually have. I don't know what year Tony's Tahoe Suburban is, but we had a 1999 Suburban back when I was a kid. And it pretty much looked just like Tony's. It was not red, obviously, with the black fenders. It was blue. But I get nostalgic when I see these vehicles because you don't see them as much. I mean, I see some Silverados. Obviously, those trucks last forever, the 2000s. The Suburbans, I do see them occasionally. But we kind of lost that cheap car that at the time was not cheap, but you knew if you bought it, it was going to be lasting you a long time. Vehicles these days just don't last. One of my friends, they bought a 2025 Tundra. And I told him, well, be careful because I've heard some bad things about the twin turbos, the V6s. For those that don't know, I think it was 2020, Toyota changed the Tundra. They went from the second gen to the third gen, and they got rid of the V8. The V8 that went, a million miles. Again, they don't want your vehicle lasting a long time. They want you to drive it for a year and it explode, and you have to go buy another one, basically. And GTA 4 and Sopranos kind of encapsulate that like last cusp of American engineering, or even just vehicles you could buy, houses you could buy. Now houses are insane. If you own a house, it's like you're an outlier. The American dream is gone. And funny enough, in GTA 4 and Sopranos, they kind of touch on that. In Sopranos, it's sort of the end of the mafia era. Tony thinks back of like what his dad was like in the mob, and he wishes he was there. He wishes he was back in the golden age. And GTA 4 is a critique of the American dream. Nico's an immigrant. He shows up to the U.S. after his cousin Roman cons him. And we really see, like, even Nico can see right through the veil of the American dream. Also the technology. I mean, I know people, obviously we know the iPhone came along and just changed everything, and now the iPhone's in everyone's pocket. You can go on the internet, you can go on TikTok, all that stuff. But back in Sopranos GTA 4 era, the phone was just, you could text people, but texting would take forever. There was no keypads, would come later with all the letters on it individually. It was just a calling machine. So in GTA 4, you have this like little tiny phone, and like you get ringtones and stuff. I think we all remember. Well, not everyone who watches this video is gonna remember, but back then you could like buy ringtones and stuff, and it was kind of a big deal. They were really expensive too. They're like $20. But yeah, I'm getting pretty nostalgic right now. It's fall. I'm thinking about like what the next year is gonna be like. I like to section off my years by like quarters. So right now I'm thinking like, okay, how do I make these last couple of months great so that 2026 is good? And I'm thinking about these games. I'm playing them because I need to get some kind of filler video going in the background. I haven't decided if I'm going to just record my actual self with a webcam yet, but I'm having fun recording these videos. So that's going to do for this video. Guys, like and subscribe. It helps me out. It helps me figure out what to do with this channel.